Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Mac, you are something else with those suits, I tell you. You are welcome here, and so is everybody else, because we are all in the right place at the right time. And we're going to sing about that, right, Ann?
That's right, just where you were meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. And happy June, everyone. Let's sing about how we're welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome. Oh my soul, your soul, everybody's soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yes, it is. My soul is welcome here. You know, my soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Start your day off right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, good morning, Reverend Deborah and everyone else, as our souls are indeed welcome here.
And good morning, Reverend James, and it's great to be up here with you today. And we welcome you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center welcomes all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there's no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either with us online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're always so grateful and excited to be together. And of course, that excitement extends to silencing your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, let's connect with this presence for a moment. We created that opening for us to have that direct line to the Spirit of the living God, as we always do. And our task is simply to be open and receptive so it can have its way with us, can guide us, direct us. For we are reminded that this presence is everything that is good and perfect about ourselves and our world and our entire universe. For it radiates and reflects a peace that passes all understanding. It radiates a love that is beyond measure. And as we incorporate every quality of this presence, we are uplifted. Healings happen. Transformations begin to happen. We begin to see from the highest point of view because we know that this is what Spirit of God would have us to do. So this morning, we simply come under his government and guidance. We remind one another that we are unique, unrepeatable expressions of this presence because we all come from this presence, and we are one in the Spirit. And from this oneness, from this connection, all things indeed are possible. For a reminder that whenever two or more are gathered together, here I am, the Spirit of God is there. And we rest assured that all is well. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our expanded mission statement. And let's affirm it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission as we live out and embody these 5 basic principles to the best of our ability. Again, let's affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And right now, if anyone who has a birthday in the month of June, just stand, we can acknowledge you and serenade you with the birthday song.
June babies.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to start the song sometime.
I'm totally blank.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Mine was in May. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Geminis. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Geminis and Cancer.
And of course, the first Sunday of the month, Shirley Brown does the flowers for our altar. And I just realized, I guess, Shirley, those are birthday flowers. Because we always do the birthday.
Do the
so
first
thank
Sunday.
you, Shirley, for the beautiful flowers.
Yes.
So Wow Wednesday this week, we just had a 4-week introduction to mental healing. And so I thought it'd be interesting to have people come and just tell their story about a healing experience. And so that's what we're going to do this week. And if you've had an experience of either mental, emotional, or physical healing, I'd like to talk to you because I need some people.
Yeah.
So chat with me after the service, and the community meals at 6, and we'll start the program at 7.
All right, let the healing continue. And we invite you to consider being part of Claire's book club that starts on Thursday, June the 8th. And she has a new book that she's going to be part of her book club, and it's entitled How Witchcraft Saved My Life. Now, that's a very interesting title of a book. So I'm very curious to see what that looks like. Anyway, they're going to meet at 10 o'clock and between 10 and 11:30 a.m., and that's beginning Thursday on the 8th.
And our spring cleanup is this Saturday, June 11th. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can come join in the fun while being of service to the community. Bring your gloves and tools. You know, if you bring tools for identification for the landscaping, maybe a sun hat because it's getting a little warm. They're going to reorganize the kitchen, clean appliances, organize the youth ed supplies, refill offering envelopes, the holders and back of the chairs, and we will be washing windows inside and out. So if you're one of those people who loves to clean or just wants to be in service, find Pat Harvey and she will sign you up.
All righty, because I know there's some people that just cannot get things clean enough, so they will be here. I just want to let you know that some banda music of the World Concert is going to happen at 6 p.m. at George and Diane Piper's house. And all the details and how to get tickets are on our website. I think that's one of our...
What date would that be, James?
That would be, I
June
don't
11th.
know, June 11th. Okay. A week from today, so it's actually Sunday, June
Yes.
11th, 6 p.m.
Yeah. No, it's Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, June 10th for the cleanup. And then after you clean up, you clean yourself up and come up to the music program on June 11th at 6 p.m. So, all right. It's one of those days today, I can tell. Well, one of the things we do as a community is find individuals and organizations in our community that are making a difference in some way, shape, or form. And each week we give that organization or that individual, a community giving check. Usually we have them here, but in today's nominee is the Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus. Unfortunately, they were unable to be here today, but we do have a video from them to tell us about their organization.
I know it's the Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus, but in reality it's gay, it's straight, it's lesbian, trans, non-binary, queer, and I think that's pretty amazing because we get to go out and sing to Sacramento and show that no matter what, we can all come together and sing with one voice, and I think that's really special.
I am a transgender woman, and they welcomed me as long as you could sing within the tenor or the bass range. There's a spot for you.
There's something about an environment when people know they can be who they are and they can be accepted and appreciated and loved. That all sparks the musical engine of this singing entity that we call Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus.
We don't need to pigeonhole ourselves because our hearts are bigger than that. Our reach is bigger than that. Our community is bigger than that.
A wonderful part of the community. And I think at some point we want to have them here. Is that correct?
Yes, I invited them to come, and they were gonna bring a a chamber chorus. 12 members of the choir were gonna come and sing today, and then they got invited to go and participate in the Pride event in Davis today. So they opted to do that, but they were very disappointed not to be able to be in both places at the same time, and they're gonna come another time.
Yeah, so they will be here. All right.
And we always want to remind you that there are many activities here at Spiritual Life Center that foster transformation in our lives. So check out our small groups and other offerings, anything about the happenings or at our website. And of course, if you're here in person, you can go to the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, chat with the ladies at the hub, and get all the information you could possibly ever want.
Well, one of the things we seek to do is have a connection with other folks in the community through our classes, workshops, social activities. But we don't have to wait for that. You can make a connection with someone right here, right now. Just find a person that you know or don't know and just connect with in a way that feels comfortable for you and just say, you are marvelous and glad you are here.
And we invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, I'm Reaching Out, by Daniel Namond, the same one that wrote our welcome song. He has a fun little style. That's right. I encourage you to dance. Thank you for starting it out. Are you guys ready to sing with us? We may be small, 9 o'clock, but we're mighty, yes? All right, let's sing. Here we go. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. I'm going deep to know the divine. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. I'm rising up to know the divine. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. Give yourselves a hand. Please be seated.
So at this time, we're going to just take a nice deep breath together, prepare for our meditation. And as we do that, we're going to begin by speaking our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now I invite you to join in and sing this beautiful chant by Denise Rosier, Spirit in Me.
Please join us in singing. Spirit in me, live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me. Spirit, Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness. in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me, oh Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me, oh Spirit, 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 Spirit in me.
Live through me, move through me, love through me, Spirit in me. Let's take a few moments to turn within and release any concern for the outer world. Take a nice deep breath, let it go. And then breathe naturally, allowing yourself to release any tension or concerns. Drop your shoulders, loosen your hands, relax your eyelids. And as you continue to breathe naturally, your consciousness floats up and up into a light daydream of being in the high desert. You stand on a mesa. Here the air is clean and clear, the sun warm and comforting. It is quiet and still. But your attention is caught by the sounds of a flowing water. So intrigued, you turn and walk towards the sound of the river. And though you can hear the river, the air is still, and it is so quiet that you can hear the smallest sounds of a tiny bird rustling in the low shrubs, or small lizards scurrying from rock to rock. Just being in this environment has a healing effect. And you feel grateful for this moment to yourself. As you near the river, the shrubs are bigger and more abundant, and the water is louder and more rambunctious. Ahead of you, a large smooth rock juts out over the river, providing a perfect place to sit and rest. The smoothness of the rock is comforting, and your fingers gently glide along the smooth surface, tracing the colors, the beautiful colors that are woven through it. And you wonder, how much water needs to pass over a stone this large to make it this smooth? How long did it take before the rock became this amazing? What did that process feel like? In your imagination, become this rock. Feel the water flowing over you. At times it is gentle, caressing. Other times furious and raging, tugging at you, taking off tiny bits. But you are still you. You are always still you. No matter the state of the water, the temperature, the velocity, your you-ness remains. And you realize those tiny bits are not you. They are only the concerns and distractions of the material world. And it is the grace of this divine flow that moves them up and away from you. Gratitude fills your being, clarifying you, healing you, cradling you in the grace of the silence. This is a glorious moment. The atmosphere is quiet and holy. The sun, the river, the sounds of the animals, the smoothness of the rock heal you, enlighten you. In gratitude for the insight that the joys and trials of this life do not take anything from you, take a deep breath and begin to return to your body and receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, water, silence, life flows over and around you. Please do not fear the raging waters or love overly much the gentle ones. They offer the same grace of smoothing out your edges, healing you, keeping you holy, bringing out the very best in you as you walk in gratitude. Remember this, always.
Rolling river God, little stones are smooth. Only once the water passes through. So I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high. Never have I known this river dry. the deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hands, rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through.
Yes, it was. That's always a very touching, deep song. You can feel it in the depth of your soul. Well, good morning once again. Trying to just take in that vibes that were coming from that wonderful song and voice of Ann. You know, as I was preparing today, I was thinking, as I was writing earlier in the week about, I ran across a commencement speech that Oprah Winfrey was giving at her alma mater, Tennessee State. And, you know, if you ever listen to commencement speeches, you know, they always provide some very sage advice to people who are graduating. And oftentimes when I listen to these talks, I realize, you know, the year is ending for a lot of students. I've had many of those where my son was going through different stages of graduating from one grade to the next, you know, graduating from college, graduating from high school. Heck, I think even nowadays they have even kids graduating from preschool and kindergarten. They didn't have that amount in my day, you know, you had to be around for a little while, but now, you know, they had little caps and gowns, you know, coming out of preschool, I'm graduating and get ready to go to the first grade. Anyway, you know, as people are getting their diplomas and taking their next steps in life to work through whatever challenges they face, you know, all of them are celebrating mostly. They're reflecting. They're anticipating what the next chapter in their life is going to be. But it also reminds us that our life is also an ongoing school. And we're all going to have lessons along the way, and the lessons will help make us grow and unfold a little bit more and to evolve. So I think we're all attending what we probably call the school of life. And just as the students are learning their lessons to move from one grade to the next or to graduate and progressing in their experience, we have our own lessons to help us grow. And I think if we're blessed in some way, shape, or form to be around for any length of time, there will be lessons for us to learn. We will have experiences along the way. And sometimes they're going to be challenging. Now, if you've never had any challenges in your life, please levitate from your seat, float to the front of the room, and tell us how you did that. We need to know. We probably all have them. And if we fail to learn from our experiences and simply what I call like kind of sleepwalk through our life, then oftentimes these experiences that we do not like, will repeat themselves. But if we actively seek to learn, as we actively seek to grow through the experiences, we graduate, I think, to higher levels of understanding. We graduate to higher levels of living. You know, most of us are familiar with the story of the Israelites who were wandering 40 years in the wilderness before entering the promised land. And one might think that, well, that's 40 years. Well, of course, that's symbolic, but even if we took it literally, 40 years, that's just a long time. But it wasn't a waste. And I surmise that during that time, that what they were doing, they were progressing in their awareness, progressing in their consciousness in order to get to the point where they could enter in and possess the land that they were entering into. But they could not enter that land until they learned the lessons that they needed to learn to be ready to take on their next assignment. So apparently, being around for 40 years, they probably had a lot of lessons to learn. They had to learn the rule and the laws of life. And I think we're here to navigate this school of life successfully. And I think we want to know that, life is a game. Sometimes people ask me, well, somebody's coming into this philosophy, what kind of book would I recommend? And sometimes I recommend Eric Butterworth's book, Discover the Power Within You, and Lessons in Truth. But there's one little book that I often recommend to people. It's written by Florence Scovel Shinn. And the book is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And she has a very powerful opening line in that book. And she basically says, life is a game. But in order to play the game, you have to know the rules. And I think one of the rules of this earth school is that if we don't learn our lessons along the way, we end up repeating those lessons until we begin to master them. The first universe sometimes will send us a lesson. It may be the size of a pebble. It'll be like a little whisper. And if we ignore that pebble, it'll send us a brick. And if we ignore the brick, then, the universe will send us a brick wall. And if we ignore the brick wall, it'll send us a huge demolition truck to get our attention. And if we're unwilling to progress by choice, stagnation will be our lot, and we will have our own wilderness experiences. And all that does is lead to our own personal pain, not necessarily physical pain. Sometimes it's just existential angst. We're just not feeling okay. And I always realize that pain is the effort it takes to hold on to an old thought form. Yes. And oftentimes, God is not doing it to us. The universe is not doing it to us. We're doing it to ourselves. And I realize that if we're unaware of that law, we may ask, if something's going on over and over again, why is this happening to me? I ain't done nothing. Well, that's why it's happening. You haven't done anything. Because we grow through pain, or we grow through our insight. The choice is always ours, and we want to grow through insight. When I wake up in the morning, I don't want a loud alarm. I just want the gentle breeze to be coming through the window and the lights coming on, where it's like an easy wake-up call. But if we don't wake up, something will just ring loud to make sure that we have the insight we need to have a change in our own consciousness. So there are lots of rules, lots of laws that we can apply to help us learn through insight as we face, life's experiences. And I'm just going to point to 3 today, or the laws for us to consider that can help us, make the grade, so to speak, or to grow from one stage of living to the next. And the first law is the law of reflection. That is taking time to learn, mostly about ourselves. Years ago, I shared my story, when I went through my own dark night of the soul and then had to go through a drug rehab process. And I ended up going to a rehab facility, which was long-term. And I really didn't want to go because it was like a 6-month time period, and that seemed like a long time out of my life. But as I look back on that experience, it was the very best thing I think I've ever done in my life. It was the greatest education because it was my own self-reflection that I had to begin to look at myself on a day-to-day basis without distraction. So I began to understand a little bit more about me and why I was showing up in certain ways, why I did the things that I did. And I remember there was a young woman, you just call her Maya, I don't know her real name, and she ended a relationship that she'd been in. She was devastated by the breakup, and she felt very lost and confused and wondered, the same question that we often have, why is it happening to me again? And she realized that the relationship ended up, and she would end up into a new relationship, but it would be the same person. Now, they would look different. They would have a different name. They'd be in a different body. But she knew they were the same individual. And the challenge that she said for her was to identify and release the patterns that she was repeating. When we have these patterns in our life, they're not always easy to interrupt, because it means that we have to somehow change ourselves, which is not always easy. Because, I know just for me, I can't speak for yourself, speak for you, but sometimes just staying the same is comfortable. I might say to myself, well, I'm not totally happy, but I'm all right here because I know this. This is familiar to me. But she knew that she had to do something different if she was going to elevate her life. And this time, instead of going into another relationship or burying her emotions, she decided that she would take the time for some introspection. She began to journal. She began to journal her thoughts and emotions, and she started getting into books about how to grow herself personally and spiritually. She got guidance from a spiritual guide or guru. And over time, she gained clarity and realized that the relationship was teaching her some valuable lessons that she had not learned and were repeating over and over again. And those lessons for her were about self-love. Those lessons were about setting boundaries. Those lessons were about her own personal growth. But probably the most important thing she learned, that if we want to attract the right person, we have to be the right person. And she realized to be the right person that she had to begin to pray from a different perspective. We talked about asking questions last week, and she began to ask questions about herself, and she did. She started praying this prayer. And I think it's a prayer that is that we can use as well. In fact, you can repeat these words after me. Simply say, God, let me know, the truth about me, regardless of how awesome it is, how beautiful it is, how mind-blowing it is. We begin to ask that question about ourselves. We start to tease out the truth of who and what we are, start being the right people that we need to be. And this is the prayer that she began to use to break up the pattern she had been living from. She started being the person she wanted to bring into her life. And I think by embracing this principle of reflection, Maya learned and grew from the experience. So the first principle she learned was to stop. In order to stop her repeats, was simply be still, to reflect, become aware. Because I know that without awareness, there is no choice. We're just reacting based upon what we've done in the past. So the first thing we have to do is be aware. And then the second principle or law that we can learn is the law of reframing. Because we want to find the inner side of everything, or as I like to say, even behind the pictures that we see that we may not like, there is always something unfolding that is good. If we think of challenging experiences as problems, we will see them as hopeless situations. We have to endure those situations. We have to tolerate those situations. That's why I believe language is important. The word problem often has a dark meaning. A perplexing set of questions or situations, a problem person or a problem child. When we identify something as a problem, we immediately identify the scenario as something difficult to solve or to handle. But we can reframe that and use a better word. And I like the word project. When we have a problem, it's simply a project waiting for a spiritual idea or solution to be revealed. The word project connotes a positive undertaking of research or development. And so when we say, I have a problem, we often approach it as if we're going through the motions for a situation that may appear to be hopeless. but we want to reframe it and look at our lives and ask, how many projects do I have that I need to find? We used to call them problems, but now we call them projects. We give them priority for our attention, and we get busy applying our spiritual creativity to them one by one. And of course, there's work involved. Spiritual growth is not always easy. It involves us to do a lot in order to, quote, make the grade and move to the next stage. But that's what life is about. Life, I said, is a school. And meaning that there are not only lessons to be learned in everyday challenges we meet, but we have to prepare for them. Do spiritual preparation, do our classes, workshops, seminars, and meet these challenges so we can pass them. As I'm thinking about the graduation, I remember I was in high school. I had a really good, teacher, but I had a classmate, and he was about to graduate. We were about to graduate together. And he said, once I finish my education, I'm going to start living my life. And then one of our teachers overheard this, and she said to him, well, education is not like a headache, something that you get over when you're young. You don't have to be bothered with it again. She said, when you graduate, your real education is just starting. Jesus said something to the effect that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And I like to paraphrase that a little bit. That says that life's tests are plentiful, but the students are few. There will be people who will say, what is the world coming to? Why is this happening again? But the world is calling for people, that's you and me, to make the grade by working for spiritual solutions for the many projects that we face. And so when we start with ourselves by being the right people and seeing the situation from the highest point of view, so our education never ends. Spiritually speaking, education comes from the word educare, which means to draw more from us. We're drawing stuff out of us. So we're continuously growing, we're continuously evolving, we're continuously becoming more. I always say if you want to have more, you got to be more. So we're seeking to become more and be more and express more of who we are. So when we see the news and the headlines on the internet, everybody's yelling at us, crime and violence and lack, limitation, polarization, we realize they're projects. They're telling us what we need to pray for, what the spiritual solutions that we're here to reveal. So we're here to turn the problems into projects. So we have the first two principles of reflection and reframing. And then there's the third one that says the law of realization. That simply means that we have to embody the lessons into our lives. Put another way, we can't just read them and learn about them. We got to be them. Sometimes people will say, I know it's a good idea to forgive. I know that. But I'm going to hold on to this resentment anyway. As it says in John 13:17, now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. Now that you know the lesson, they're saying be the lesson. Again, we need to internalize and integrate the lessons we learn in life to prevent those same teachings from happening again and again. And that simply means understanding that you get out of harmony. When you get out of harmony with the presence of God and who you truly are, just knowing what to do is not enough. We have to actively make changes in our daily lives and our habits. We need to make new purposeful ones. We have to change our mentality. We have to change our behavior. We have to do that, or the mistakes, or some people call mistakes, will happen again. They're just mistakes, as I like to say. Like an actor, goes to read a part, and they make a mistake. They say, oh, that's a mistake. Let's take it again. The universe gives us plenty of times to do it over and over again until we get it right. Sometimes it has to hit us on the head with a 2x4, but eventually it gets our attention. So we don't want to just have the information to be informed. We want the information to be transformed. Transformed. That's That's why I said be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So think about it. Why would we get different results if we keep doing exactly the same thing over and over again? You know, they call that insanity. Even if the understanding is right, the same actions won't magically result in different outcomes. That's why just waiting and doing nothing by itself, which can be okay at times, but they sometimes don't lead to better outcomes. You know, we hear the cliche, time heals all wounds, and that helps, it's true. But only if we actively undertake action to change ourselves, to see things differently, and see the world around us differently. So we see that life is indeed a game. And be successful at the game, as Florence Scovel tells us, we got to know the rules. And there are many rules of life. You know, the number one rule, I would say, that life is consciousness. I said that last week, but this is really to sum up this whole philosophy. Life is consciousness. And our goal is to grow in our own consciousness. You know, there's a lot of sub-rules along the way to help us move from one level to the next. I was reading something from Dr. Sherry Carter Scott, who's a behavioral scientist. And she kind of summed up the rules as it relates to making the grade this way. She said that, you know, rule number one, that you get a body. We all come here with this earth suit. Whether we like it or don't like it, hey, this is what we got. We can work on it, try to make it a little better, but this is ours. And then the number two rule that she says that while we're in this body, we'll get a lot of lessons. And then number three, there are no mistakes, or as I would say, there are no problems. There are only lessons. There are only projects along the way. And as we noted, the lessons are repeated until learned. You know, Pema Chodra, who's a nun and a Buddhist teacher, said it this way, and it really summed it up. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. And then finally, you know, the doctor says the learning, as I was saying, never, ever ends. But here's the deal. We don't want to have the same problems, or should I say projects, because we want to make the grade to graduate from one stage of our consciousness to the next. We don't want to repeat the same projects, formerly known as problems. What we want bigger projects. We want more sophisticated projects. We want life-expanding projects so that we're continuously growing, we're continuously developing, we're continuously evolving and becoming lifted to greater and greater heights. And understand that as each of us individually are lifted up, we draw more and more people to that same level of consciousness. And as we do our part to uplift consciousness, we can say, I learned the lesson. I grew. I made the grade. I graduated. Bring on the next assignment. I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Let's continue to grow, develop, and unfold as we move from one grade to the next in this thing called life. Peace and blessings to you. Next week is Father's Day. I know we have Deborah up there. Not yet? Two more. Oh, you're next week. Next week. Okay. All right.
You got Father's Day.
Yes, I got Father's Day. That's the week after that. Anyway, Deborah's going to speak next week. Permission granted. And the meditation will be by Paul Sanchez, and the music by one and only Ann Roach and Louis Shiflett, and Soul Light Connection. So it's another wonderful Sunday to just be here and just immerse yourself in this energy field. Let's see, prayer chaplains. If you're looking for some prayer this afternoon, we have prayer chaplains. Any prayer chaplains here? Yes. Prayer chaplain wearing the white stole. If you want some prayer for a challenge or a project that you're going through, they'll be more happy to pray with you. And if you just want to have something that you elevate the joy in, they'll be more than happy to pray with you on that as well. So they'll be in the courtyard immediately after the service. If you're new to Spiritual Life Center, and if you're online, or even you're not online, you want to go back at any other time, you can fill out our welcome card to stay in touch with us, and we can stay in touch with you and let you know what things are going on. And if anybody's here for the very first time today, any first timers here this morning, if you raise your hand, I think I recognize everybody here. So yes, it's a good morning today. So as I like to say, if you're different today than you were yesterday, you're a new person. So welcome newcomers. At this time, for those who are online, if you'd like to support Spiritual Life Center with your gift, your offering, you can do so pretty easily by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, go to the Donate tab, and you can give in other ways, including by mail. So you can give by mail, PayPal, credit card, debit card, or send a check if you want to go do that, and you can just simply connect to us on our website. For those who are here this morning, I just invite you to take your gift or your love offering and symbolically raise it to the heavens. And if you've already given, just know that you're in the flow of a principle, a great law of life that says that whatever you give out does indeed come back to you. And so with that awareness, let's affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
This is the sound of one heart starting to heal. And this is the sound of faith stepping out of fear. Oh, the journey of one soul's passage through time. And oh, this is one lone dreamer learning to fly. And this is the sound of love reaching out from the storm, calling through the thunder, through the anguished war. I can feel the winds, feel them beginning to turn. And oh, this is one small light starting to burn. And your love is shining in everything I do, and I hear you calling for me, for all roads lead, all roads lead, all roads lead to you. This is the sound of prayer on its way to the sun, calling all the children together as one. And I can see us there, see it clear as the blue. And oh, this is one small heart. Here is my gift to you, and your love is shining, every movement in everything I do, and you. Every time I speak your name, I know that you are all roads lead. All roads lead. All roads lead. All roads lead. So count the hilltops, count the towns, while we're crossing over. See no, hear no, speak no sound on this golden flood.
Y'all keep doing it every single week. Yes. You don't know. I mean, having a band that's like, just tight, they just like, they know what they're doing. Yeah. So thank you, Paula, for assembling this team. So we take this time to bless those who have blessed us with their gift or offering. Those who are here, those who are online that may have been watching live, that may be watching on a replay. We just appreciate you taking in this and making it part of your awareness so you can be the vessel and channel to make a difference in not only your life, but in our world. For God needs us to shine God's light. We bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box and know that we all have our challenges and projects in life, and sometimes we need to lean on a presence that is greater than ourselves. We know that this presence has the answer even before we know what the question is, even before we know what to pray for. For as that statement goes, before they call, I have already answered you. So we rest in the answer, and we rest assured that all is well, and the answer will come from directions we never thought of and ways we never imagined. And in the end, no matter what it is, there's an opportunity for us to learn and grow and move on to the next grade in life. So we go forth today knowing that each of us are blessed in the blessing of the Spirit of the living God. And each of us, whenever we're open and receptive to God's living Spirit of truth, something wonderful begins to happen, because it already is happening for us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Let us now affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Let's sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God
and hang around for some postlude music if you want to hear some more music.